Hi folks, hope you're okay today. It's good to be with you. I'm just making a video really to Bible Thumping Wingnut and Matthew419, and I'm pretty angry really because, well, what annoys me is you go around telling everybody that they need to sort their lives out on the internet. And I'll hold up my hand. I have failed and I've made mistakes, so hit me, boys. I've made mistakes and I'm willing to confess them. But you go around telling everybody that they've got to sort their lives out and they shouldn't be saying this and shouldn't be saying that. And sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. But what gets me is you have the audacity to do that, and yet you record people's private conversation. Now, I have done this on two occasions. Once, when DPR Jones rang me, I recorded him on YouTube for about 5 minutes for a laugh because he was hassling me. So I just had a poking fun. There was nothing really private of any significance within the conversation. It was only for a few minutes. I recorded a private conversation with a troll who pretended to be somebody he wasn't, and for 5, 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, I recorded that. But I've never ever recorded a private conversation either with an atheist or a Christian, and actually played that or used that against them. I've used comments that they've made on Skype, but that's not because I'm recording it. It's because they're commentating and they're on Skype and we've had a controversy and stuff like that. But I've never actively myself gone and recorded private information in a conversation, and there's a reason why that is, and that is because of trust. That you either trust people or you don't trust people. And if you've been recording private conversations and then releasing those private conversations, that is serious, serious, serious sin. I mean, it's serious, serious sin. And there are Christians who do this. There are Christians who go around who actually record everybody's conversation wherever they go, and it's serious, serious sin. And you, Tim, and you, Matthew419, have done serious, serious sin by recording people's private conversation and then not and then releasing some of that information. That is not right. And you've kind of got on your little white horses and rode off into Blue Yonder and not taken any responsibility for it whatsoever, and left a whole group of Christians in a mess. Now, I'm not interested in the private conversations. I'm not interested in your justification because they've said this or they've said that. That's irrelevant, because if you were men, if you were real men, you wouldn't make these things public. You would deal with these people in private. If you were real men. If you were real men of God, that's what you would do. You wouldn't embarrass your brothers and sisters in Christ publicly, but you would talk to them privately and you would leave it at that. And you've left these people in a mess, and you have been totally irresponsible. I'm not taking sides. I'm not saying that the particular group that you've targeted are 100% correct. And I'm not saying that, some of the things that have been said have been unwise, and You know, some people needed to say things, but in a very gentle, loving way. But you've left a flipping train wreck so big, and you're responsible for that. And it's no good saying, oh well, they said this, they said that in private, you don't know what they said, you don't know how they behaved. I don't need to know, and I don't want to know. The fact of the matter is, you shouldn't be recording people's private conversation, and you shouldn't use that against people, especially those who name the name of Christ. And it's really, really, really bad. And you can't just get on your white horse and ride off into blue yonder as if you're the kind of sweet and innocent presuppositional Calvinist who hang around with the big shots like Matt Slick and get away with it. Because it's serious stuff, Tim. It's serious stuff, Matthew419. And you're the ones that are going round doing the serious correction of the Triple R gang. And we're going to do the serious correction of them. Now, I have had massive respect for you guys. I've always had massive respect for you. But I don't respect people who record private conversation. Now you need to make a video, both of you. You need to make it clear that you have no justification whatsoever for doing that, and that you apologize for doing it, and that you will not do it again. That when people talk to you in private, they are not going to have their conversations recorded, and then if you somehow disagree with them in the future, you're going to release it on them. Because that's not Christianity, my friends. That's religion. Now, I know how your mind works. You kind of little correction Calvinist police going around inspecting Mr. Burns or inspecting wherever. Well, I'd say back off. Because I own my sin. I acknowledge my failure. I acknowledge my weaknesses. But you can't go around correcting everybody else and then have a big plank in your own eye and not deal with that plank. And it is absolutely disgusting that you record people's private conversation. And any Christian who does that, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And shows absolutely no sense of trust whatsoever. So, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't call you out on this if it weren't for the fact that you've set yourselves up to be the Calvinist police of YouTube, where you feel you're the Calvinist police and you have to go and correct everybody else. Well, there is correction and there is correction. You can go to someone and say, I think you need to change here. If they don't listen, leave them alone. Not keep hounding them like you did with the Triple R gang. Just have a private word with them. If they don't want to listen, don't have anything to do with them. But just leave it at that. But you didn't. You kept hassling them. You kept hassling them. But at the end of the day, you think you're smug. You think you've shown the Triple R gang up, and that you're smug, and that you're the perfect ones, and you're not the perfect ones. Nobody in the world today respects Calvinism. And there's a reason why nobody respects Calvinism. Because very few Calvinists show love. And you have shown zero love to the Triple R gang. You have hung them out to dry, and you have character assassinated and annihilated them with your Reformed Calvinism police mentality. And you have walked away with little smirks on your face as like Tom Sawyer little cousins, where, you know, in Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn, or Tom Sawyer, he's got a cousin who's dead prim and proper and doesn't have butter melt in his mouth, and that's what you've done. And you've walked away, and you're all pleased with yourself that you've exposed the Triple R gang because Ran ranted and swore, and in your own little head you said, oh, well, look at them, what they did. Aren't we the nice goody two-shoes? Aren't we the good people? And you're not. You're not. You're not showing any love whatsoever to them. You're not showing any kindness to them. You're not showing any help to them, any support to them. And the proof of that is, you shouldn't be recording private conversation. And what gets me angry, Matthew419, and what gets me angry, Tim, is you should know better. And you say, well, what do you mean? You should know better. You should know better. You say, well, what do you mean, should know better? You are supposedly the ones who are theologically minded. You are the ones, supposedly, the people who are godly, the people who know the truth. You're the ones who know it all, my friend. You're the ones who know Jesus. You're the ones who know the Bible. You're the ones who know the theology. You're the ones who know God and all the rest of it. Well, if you know all these things, then why aren't you showing the humility of Christ? If you're so knowledgeable, why don't you, Matthew419, why don't you, Tim, be the bigger men and reach out to these people who are hurting? They are hurting. You've hurt them. They're really, really hurt. You say, well, Jay, they ripped into me. They said this, they said that. So what? You're the bigger men. You're the theologians. This is what you're claiming. You're claiming to be the men, the bigger men. You're claiming to be the men of God. And walk in humility and help these people. Help them. You say, well, we've had conversations in private. They're not listening to me. They're not listening to us. We tried to correct them. Well, maybe you need to go lower in humility. Maybe you need to put them first of your own ministries and what you think, and get down in humility and go to them. But just to walk away when you've caused a train wreck on YouTube, and you've left a bunch of people broken, and you've got off into the sunset on your little white horses, in your little white presuppositional horses, thinking you're all smug. Well, I'm sorry, it don't work like that. You got to take responsibility, Matthew419. You got to take responsibility, Tim. And your D-Day is this: you have no right to record people's private conversation. You've no right to do so. It's despicable. It's absolutely despicable. And I'm pretty annoyed that you walk away in your nice smug Calvinism and leave a bunch of people as if you're somehow better than them when you've been worse because you've recorded private conversations. Now, I tried to keep unity with everybody, but I'm giving it you in the neck because you need it in the neck. Because I can't stand people who pretend that they're better than other people and are calling people out for responsibility when themselves are not being responsible. You can't justify recording people's conversation.